What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. It is time to review roster update number 4, which we were expecting to be a banger, and it hit, but it didn't hit as big as we wanted. Now, cleared some big profits. A lot of people in chat did as well. We're on twitch.tv/Spore right now. If you're watching this on YouTube, come through on Friday afternoons. I go live every Friday afternoon, but we go for the big 12-hour banger on every other Friday on the update Fridays. So if you want to come through for that, if you're watching this on Friday evening, I usually post it that same night. Come through. I'm probably going till at least 2, maybe longer. But it was still good. There was still a lot of movement. Let's be clear. It was still good. But there were some things that didn't happen that were shocking. I'll just freely say that. If you had guaranteed me certain things and said this piece of the puzzle will come through, what do you think? I'll say then I will definitely invest more in this card because he's going to go way up to the gold or the diamond level, and I'll get to those guys in a moment. But let's get started with it. We're going to go position by position like we always do, talk about it. One thing I will say, if you didn't hit today or didn't hit big or as big as you wanted, that's okay, because there is going to be a dip on so many guys that you can buy and get geared up for June 25th. And I know we got to wait 2 more weeks for June 25th. But it's a long-term thing. Investing is, whether you're investing in the real-life market, which is obviously a lot more treacherous because that's your money, or in the MLB market, okay? So don't panic. And like I said in Twitch chat earlier, if you did clear like 100K, shut the hell up about not getting 200 or 300K. Nobody wants to hear that. The people that missed because they only invested in like 2-3 guys, they don't want to hear that. That includes me too, by the way. I was kind of moping around, only got like 130K. Like, okay, shut up. Nobody wants to hear that. I will say, one thing that I usually try to see both sides of it, see where SDS is coming through on things, and you can't see it here, but we went to check immediately. I don't know why Jacob deGrom doesn't have outlier. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. He has a 99-mile-an-hour fastball. He constantly hits 100, 101. Why doesn't he have outlier? Like, would it make him too OP? I don't care. Make him that OP. Look at his freaking numbers. So they do give him an update up to 95, which he absolutely deserved. With a jump today in inside edge and the paralleling, he's actually a 99 for me, so I can't wait to use him tonight in seasons. Garrett Cole gets nooched. I wonder if they took his spider tack away, and that's why they gave him a little hit and K9 drop, but maybe a little bit more control since it won't be moving as much. Maybe that's a spider tack move. I don't know. You talk to SDS about that. Max Scherzer quietly, very quietly, fully back on track, by the way. If you don't have him on your fantasy team or you don't pay attention to the NL East because you're not a fan of one of those 5 teams, you might not have realized that Scherzer is back. Bauer gets nooched. Nooched is just when somebody gets a neutral move. They get some pluses, but also some minuses so that their overall doesn't change. So that's nooched, if you hear me say that a million times, because you will, because there's a lot of players that got nooched this week. The 2 big Brewers continue to go up. They're insane. They could be joined by a 3rd diamond down the line. Freddie Peralta's just been out of his mind. Couple noochings here. Let's keep going. We got Bueller going up. Gossman, here we go. Now we hit a big trio of diamonds, and I gotta be honest, because I do an initial run through where I go through, I want to see the diamonds and golds real quick. Otherwise, I'll just all be spoiled in chat if I wait until I do this, because I'm already 45 minutes into the stream before I start this review. So we go doing quick review. When I saw a trio of diamonds, I was like, this is gonna be the banger that we're expecting, and there's gonna be like 5 diamonds and 12 golds. And like, there is more coming, but not everything. But Gausman, Glasnow, Lynn, they were darn near locks. Even Gausman with the +3, he's been so good that it felt pretty strong that he was going to get it. These two were locks. Lynn was the lockiest of a lock. He should have got it last time, we all thought. Glasnow has just been out of his mind, and then Gausman dating back to even last year too. Setting up the next diamonds here are these next 4. These are the guys you want to look to invest in. Buy any dip that's there for them. Make sure that you're getting your shares set up, because Musgrove, Wheeler, and Ohtani all have a chance to go diamond in the near future, including possibly June 25th. Ohtani, remember, we talked about it before, like, relax with Ohtani because none of that hitting counts, and he wasn't pitching very well. Remember, when he first started pitching, walking everybody, short outings, like just real disjointed stuff. Well, now he's really dialing in on the pitching, and you can see here that he got a nice upgrade. They haven't even touched his walk rate yet, and he's starting to limit the walks more. And if he does that, he's a diamond like crazy. So they also gave him a new cutter. And I know people love using this card because he has the hitting with it, and it's Shohei. So that's awesome as well. I can't wait till he gets to diamond, and I do think he'll get there this year. I think actually all four of these guys will. Wheeler's probably the best of the bunch at this moment. He had another brilliant outing yesterday that included 12 strikeouts. And you see that he has an 11.2 K9 and a 68 K9 rating. That's going to go up into at least the mid 70s with another couple good outings here in the next couple of weeks. And if he has another few double-digit strikeout ratings, then we should be looking at something into the low 80s perhaps, which I think would be a lock for Diamond. So get your Wheeler shares going. I mean, now, like, don't wait. Strauss gets hit. I spoke about Did I say Freddie Peralta? I spoonerized him. Freddie Peralta, I mentioned it when I was talking about the other two Brewers. He does look like he has the chance to go diamond. He's been incredible. Keep an eye on his walks as well. That's obviously his biggest avenue to gain. And until he kind of levels that out where he's not walking too many guys and deserves a real upgrade, he'll probably stagnate in the 83, 84 realm. But if he has a string of games where he's not walking too many, then I think Peralta could get the diamond as well. Nola's just been kind of okay. Wheeler has taken over as the ace of that staff, so he goes down -1. Lamet, when he was an 84, I was not even interested at all. Not this year for me. Urias gets nooched. He has an outside shot at diamond this year. What I worry about in the summer is the Dodgers kind of pulling the reins back here and there, like skip a start here, bullpen him there, send him down to the minors before the All-Star break if he doesn't make the All-Star team, so that he's like, pitching a couple innings down there to kind of, keep things in order, stuff like that. And then maybe they keep him in the minors, not pitching for a little while after the break, and then bring him up for the stretch run type of deal. So be careful there with the Dodgers. They love to do that sort of stuff. John means business. He goes up another little boost there. Down for Hyun-Jin Ryu. He just doesn't really have his strikeouts going. So he was somebody who could have been a diamond candidate if the strikeouts had really popped off, but he's been good, just not diamond worthy. He is a quintessential gold. Barrios gets nooched. Our two golds, our only two SP golds, are Bassett and Ray, and they were darn near locks for us. We were very much in on Bassett in my channel. Robbie Ray, we kind of saw what he was doing too. He got up there. He's been incredible. The weirdest thing, though, is look at this to the about the middle of the page. 15 walks and 15 homers. Everyone's talking about how he's limiting walks this year and how great that is. It truly is great. But he has 15 homers, which is really bad. And so I am still pretty nervous about him. I mean, he got the gold. That's what we needed. So you clear your money there. I do not see Robbie Ray going diamond or anything like that. I still don't fully understand, and Stephen Haas, a.k.a. Tips, huge Marlins fan. How's he not in there banging the drum for one of their starters to be a gold? I thought Lopez and Rogers could get there ahead of Alcantara because they've been pitching better, and none of the three are there. You can't even see Rogers on this page because he's over here as a 78. What's going on, man? The Marlins can't get any love. It's tough, man. Max Fried loses his gold. He just has not been pitching that well. Rich Hill is on the cusp for gold. He's been, having some good outings lately. He certainly has the capability to get there. I kind of wish that maybe he would have spiked it this week because he's so volatile at times with his health and the blisters and the fact that he's literally 712 years old, that it can be a little worrisome. But I think if you're invested in him, just stay and keep an eye on what he's doing because he's got the talent to get to gold next update. So Aaron Savali gets nooched. Savali was trending really high, and you probably won't find a bigger Savali fan than myself, and yet I had no idea why he was sitting at like 950/750, so I started selling off a bunch of mine. I just don't really understand what was going on, or if somebody said that maybe he was going to go gold. Didn't really see that there, so I sold off a handful. He gets nooched, and until we really see the strikeouts go up, I just don't see how Savali gets there. Paddock loses one. He hasn't been very good. Bundy down. He's been really rough. Look at his home runs as well. He's got 12. 13 walks. It's like, hey, we like the walk rate, but then the home run rate is hideous. T-Raj gets +1, excuse me. He's 2 away now from gold. I still think they're selling him a bit short. I really do. Obviously, I'm a big Trevor Rogers guy. Same with Pablo Lopez. I really thought they had the juice to get there, but I guess they got to keep proving it for another couple of weeks. Greinke gets nooched. He had a tough game yesterday, too. Tyler Mahle only gets 1. You know, between he and TJ Antone, and we'll talk about Antone in a minute, that's a big heartbreaker. I thought one would get there for sure, and I was putting my money on Antone, and neither end up getting there, so spoiler alert there on Antone. Javier gets nooched. Fromber goes up. Fromber's got a great shot to go gold. He's very much in focus for hold for gold. Schwebzy, the Mets fan, getting Jacob deGrom. What a pickup, man. deGrom's price is through the roof. That is such a great pull, especially if he doesn't have him already. Eovaldi gets nooched. He could go gold. You have to keep an eye on that strikeout rate. Here's the thing. And I'll tell you what, this is an adjustment that I need to make, and I'm making it in my head right now. I'm seeing a lot of these K rates, and what I think I've failed to do was raise the average enough to where, K rates aren't all created equally, right? As far as your K9 rating, it's relative to the average. And so having 10 strikeouts usually used to put you kind of in the high 70s, low 80s. Well, it doesn't put you there anymore because everybody has 10 strikeouts per 9. So I think that's part of maybe why I oversold some of these guys. I guess that's what I'm noticing right now, because, I mean, Robbie Ray has 11.5 K9, and he's up to a 70. He only got 1 point. Like, that's tough, but that's the nature of strikeouts these days. So we'll have to kind of adjust down a little bit. And by the way, that puts an even bigger burden on somebody like Savali, who has a 6.5 K9, which is just awful in today's game. He does a lot of other good things, but still. I know this one's really tough on my Discord. There's a lot of IA backers, and he gets nooched here. He had a great duel with Zach Wheeler yesterday, which did not count for this update. They lock it on Tuesday night, Wednesday afternoon area. So that one doesn't count. Another string of like 3 starts between now and the 25th would probably get him to at least 79. I still worry that he's 4 points away, though. Basically, you need to keep big time focus on the strikeouts and walks. Those are the avenues to get there. I think his walk rate should probably be better right now, but we'll see. What is that? I'm very stupid with math, like aggressively so. So I'm just going to do the math. 3.5. Okay, a 3.5 BB9 is actually not that good. So I understand a 50 mark there, because walk rates are also lower these days. So I know it's a 3 true outcome game, but guys at the top end have very minuscule walk rates. Taijuan Walker gets nooched. He's been having a great season though, which is awesome. I'm just a fan of his. Erod down. Gibson, Herman up. Manaya nooched. He only gets a little love there. He's been good. It's been more of like positive results as opposed to the underlying skills. So I understand why he didn't like move up a ton. Spencer Turnbull gets to silver. I'm gonna say too, maybe one of the reasons I'm a little bummed is I thought my Tigers got done a little dirty too. Turnbull gets the silver, and Tariq Skubal got a diamond tops now. But I thought there was gonna be some movement for the Tigers. They've been playing well lately, and it just really wasn't there. Luis Garcia does go to silver. They gave him a big boost there by keeping him in the rotation over Christian Javier right now, and he's been awesome. He really has. So he goes silver. He could be in focus for gold. Keep an eye on him and Framber Valdez. Both those guys have a great opportunity to chase down gold. Yarbrough gets nooched. Marquez goes +1 back to silver, whatever. Same with Waino. Brady Singer down. My boy Urquidy gets nooched. Caleb Smith, wow, Caleb Smith doesn't get there. I thought he would, actually, with the way he's been pitching out of the bullpen and now into the rotation. Mize did get upgraded. I thought he'd get all 3 points. He doesn't strike anybody out, though. He's got kind of that Savale-esque sort of profile, so I guess that's fair. 6 points on the hit 9, 4 points on the BB9. Okay, I mean, sure. It's not awful. I was not... It wasn't going to determine like how many stubs I was going to make, whether or not Casey Mize went silver. That's more selfish from being a Tigers fan. He's going to go right back to silver next update here. Castillo is getting back on track. I'm really excited about what he's been doing. He had another good outing yesterday that was interrupted by rain. He actually came back after the rain, which was really cool to see. And now we can see, hopefully it's time for him to take off, because I love Luis Castillo. I actually think there's a good chance that he could get back to gold at some point this year. So I would actually consider maybe investing in the bronze realm as a hold for gold. It's a long-term thing. It is volatile because of the way he's been pitching this year, but I think that's what I would do. I'm going to say it. I think I would do that. So consider that if you see fit, if that's something that you would agree with, because I mean the price is going to bottom out big time on Castillo at this point. Yeah. So let's see what else we got here. Mike Minor gets snooched. He's been pitching well, but I understand, silver maybe, whatever. It's like not the end of the world either way. So we're not going to go too crazy here unless we find some potential gold candidates, which I'm not really seeing anybody jump out. My boy Montas gets snooched. I get it. But listen, I will say this though. That start yesterday against the Royals, he got ripped off. Those junk hits that led to those runs were so annoying. And I say that as somebody who has him in like every fantasy league. So yes, I'm talking from a personal standpoint of just being annoyed, but damn, that was frustrating to give up those runs. He did not deserve that, but stuff happens. It's not the end of the world. Dane Dunning, Dylan Cease actually could go gold the way he's pitching. You see that whip is really high though, so he needs to get that down to start working on some of those other ratings, namely the walks. That's a big issue for him, but he's a huge strikeout guy, super talented. He's a long-term guy though. We'd be talking like 2, maybe 3 updates. So if you don't have that kind of patience that you want to wait that long, don't bother. But if you're going to invest in somebody who's 7 points away, I would hope that it would stand to reason that you're going to have to wait for a while. But I know sometimes I recommend these long-term guys, and then I get people in my DMs like, you said he was going to go. It's like, I said that 2 weeks ago that he might take 3 updates. That's 6 weeks. So if you like long-term stuff, I think somebody like Cease could go. Gomber's been pitching really, really well since the Gombering. If you're in fantasy baseball circles, you might know what the Gombering is. It's when he gave up 412 runs in like a third of an inning against the Giants. I'm looking to pull it up here. It was a 2-start week setup where he was going to face the Giants and I think the D-backs in a pair of starts. And he'd been pitching really well, and both were going to be on the road. So it was like, hey, this is a guy who's got some talent, pitching all right, going on the road for 2, getting away from Coors. Let's get him. So he was a popular pickup in the NFBC, which stands for National Fantasy Baseball Championship. And, he was getting a lot of buzz. That Monday, inning and 2/3, 7 hits, 4 walks, 9 runs. Get Gombered. It was in San Francisco too, which I know plays better offensively since last year, but nobody was expecting that. Like that's awful for Coors, obviously. Like that even in Coors, I'd be like, okay, geez, I didn't think he'd do well, but my God. But anyway, since that start, he rebounded with a decent outing against Arizona in the next in the May 1st outing on Sunday or Saturday. I can't remember what. Oh, Char's getting caught up in the cord here. And then since then, 2.58 ERA and 45 1/3 with 48 strikeouts and only 4 walks. Now, you might say, well, is he a long-term gold opportunity then, who could maybe get there with 8 points in the course of 6 weeks? No, because of Coors. Coors is undefeated, y'all. I'm not going to do it. I wouldn't even invest in Marquez, who's only 5 points away and a markedly better pitcher. I just don't trust that damn park. McClanahan gets 2 points. He could definitely be a save for silver. Velasquez gets snooched. Fleming up 1. Keuchel Corbin down. Carlos Martinez should maybe be at common right now, if we're being honest. Caprellian, Alexander gets a position change, so he goes up. Cobb finally gets some love for what he's been doing. His ERA was running a little high for a while. He's finally got it down to something more manageable. I think this Plutko is going to be a position change. Yep. Hauser gets snooched. Cole Irvin gets 1. He's been good for the A's, but you see a 3.89 ERA and a 123 WHIP, but you see the 6.5 K9 and 73 hits in those 69 in the third innings. That's not good. So I don't even see save for silver there with Cole Irvin. Austin Voth, Pavetta only gets 1. Okay, well, it's because His whip is still really high, so I get it, but I thought he might get more than that. Davis gets one. Webb, he's on the IL right now. Scoobs, I thought Scoobs would get more. I mean, he did get a nice little strikeout boost, but I think maybe that should go higher. He does have a pretty high whip at 144, so I was definitely aggressive on him. Where did I put Scoobs? Oh, I had him going to 73, so yeah, I'm 3 points short. A 5-point boost would have been a lot for somebody with a 144 ERA, so I just oversold that. I was basing it off how he's been pitching of late and forgetting his entire season, because you still have to look at that a bit too and understand, like, they don't want to make somebody with a 433 and 144 whip into a silver. Like, that doesn't necessarily make sense. Even though I didn't have him going there, 73 still would have been too aggressive. So looking back at that, I see getting that wrong is on me. Cody Poteet gets a huge boost and hits the IL. He'd been pitching pretty well. I think he's gonna be out for a decent bit though. Nothing here. Gant finally got his reckoning. Jesse Winker single-handedly did that. Well, Jesse Winker for Diamond. Those people finally got their comeuppance. His price is under 2K, or it was as we were starting here. I'm looking over some of these guys, but none of them really merit major attention as far as like, oh, you could get some sneak stubs there. So we move on to relief pitcher. It was a bloodbath here. They lost 2 diamonds in Dev and Karinchak. Chris Martin hangs on barely by getting nooched. This kind of impacts his BR viability with the -10 there on the K9, but that hit and BB are pretty great, so I think he's probably still usable, but it's definitely an interesting profile there. I almost wish he'd have gone down the 1 though. He'd have been he's a better BR pick as a silver at that point, which brings us to Trevor May, who unfortunately lost 3, but is again going to be a much better BR pick now. Same with Andrew Miller. Pagan gets nooched. Tepera goes up. Tepera's been on fire, so he finally gets to silver. I think we had him for silver 2 weeks ago, and then he just continued to pitch even better. So now he's a 77. Going to be a great BR card. I mean, he already is as a bronze, so it's going to be even better now. Stammen gets nooched. Daniel Hudson goes up to silver. Bummer down. That's tough. He's still going to be a BR pick, though, for sure. Shane Green goes from CP to RP. Barlow and Pierce Johnson get hot boosts. They could both go to silver. So if you like those silver investments for like exchanges and stuff, those could be useful. David Price goes down. He still has the big stamina though. I think people will probably still pick him in BR because of his pitch mix and the big stamina. But his ratings did take a hit. That 59 hit 9 is no bueno. Dylan Floro gets hit. James Hoyt gets nooched and a position change. Actually, he might have just gotten position change. That's all. Jeffrey Springs, nothing here, nothing that I'm really seeing of import. I like David Bednar. I actually thought he could be somebody who could make an impact as kind of like one of those standout middle relievers that everyone knows. He's been great, but hasn't quite hit that impact point yet. I could see him getting silver this year, though. I really think that he's been great. Alex Young, Paulo Espino, Sawamura, Lutke, Tanner Waney. Oh, sure. Your boy, Tanner Waney. Absolutely murked. Tanner Scott gets one. Ranger Suarez has been pitching really well. Did I nail that? I did. Nailed it. 63 to 68. Got it. I don't get anything for nailing it like that, but it's fun. Cesar Valdez. Oh my God, there's still 4 more pages of relievers. There's not going to be anything that we need to really look at. And these, I don't think, y'all. Trying to not to make these like 10 hours long where I like spend 30 minutes on Delios Guerra. He was a prospect with Minnesota back in 2000. For real, though. Like, Minnesota and or the Mets, and then he got moved to Minnesota in the Johan deal. I think I have that trajectory right. Like, this guy has been around forever. I'm checking my facts. Yeah, he was in the Johan deal in 2008. How old was he? 6? Because he's only 32 now. What the frick? When he was traded in 2008, he was 19. Holy Toledo. Anyway, Waka gets position changed, although he's back in the rotation, I believe, so they might have to move him right back. And then blip, 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 blip. Nothing here. Oh, kind of living up to his name. Roasted. I'm sure he's never heard that. Now we move over to closers. Hendricks is even better. So that works. Lose the stamina, so unfortunately he'll be tired after his first pitch, but it happens to every reliever. Kimbrel's going to go diamond the way he's pitching. And frankly, they undersold his BB9. Maybe they're waiting for him to prove it longer. But if you date back, if you lop off the first 4 appearances of of last year, and then add it to this, I think he probably already should be diamond. But that's all right. Stay invested if you've got him. Otherwise, jump in because he's got a great shot to go the way he's pitching. It's fun to see too. Like I'm not some like mega Kimbrel fan, but he looked left for dead, and now he's back to being Kimbrel. Edwin Diaz has a good diamond opportunity this year. He's pitching remarkably well for the Mets. No homers, which is massive. And if he keeps limiting those walks, he'll get diamond this year. T-Raj gets nooched. Iglesias only gets 1. I had him going gold. And then this might be the biggest disappointment of the entire run. And I will say this. The one positive here, the silver lining, pun fully intended, is the fact that this is an elite BR card now. It was already, by the way, at 76. But it's an elite BR card at 79. But the reason this one stings so badly is because he went on the IL this morning. So now we're left kind of holding the bag. And that really blows. I don't really understand this one. Like, I know he's a newcomer, dating back to last year, but he was great last year. He's been great this year. Like, what about him isn't gold besides his rating in the game, which is the most important part that needs to be gold? But like, I don't quite get this one. This one, I think, is a miss, SDS. I gotta be honest. This one that puzzles me greatly. Ryan Presley loses his gold. Might make him more viable in BR. I never really take him as an 81. Jake McGee goes +1. He definitely is on the hold for gold list. Mark Melancon. See, people keep asking when he's going to go gold because they keep looking at his ERA. And which of these ratings accounts for ERA? None of them. Stop looking at ERAs, guys. I couldn't believe how many Melancon questions I got. I was like, Mark Melancon's not going gold? What are you talking about? It just didn't make sense why I kept getting Mark Melancon questions. So now we see he loses 1. He's not going. Bradwick Hand down 2. Boo. There you go, y'all. I mean, again, we're still trying to get Reyes as high as we can, but we can only do so much. I said 73, he goes to 72. He lost more on his walk rate. He's so bad at walking, guys, that you can't even say for silver confidently. Like, I think he'll get to silver. He'll meander his way there by just striking out the world and not allowing any hits. But that walk rate is making it really difficult. Makes it difficult to pick him in BR, too, because the ball is not going to go where you want. Stelmont gets position change. Class A -2. Ooh, that kind of stings a little bit. I run into people in BR who really see him well, and I'm like, you can't do anything with the pitch, with the card, with that cutter. But a lot of times he's still a good go-to pick as a bronze. Soto gets position change, blah, 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 nothing there. By the way, I already looked at all the new players. There's nobody to write home about. That's why we're not looking at them. Big update for Real Muto in terms of volume of categories moving, but it ends up just being a fat nooch. Same with Sal Perez. Molina goes up 1. Grandisi gets nooched. He is starting to turn it up, though, and if the hits start falling, I still don't see diamond because, like, his peak is probably hitting, like, 230. He's just not a batting average kind of guy, but he is a really good player. It's just insane. He gets on base at a 41% clip, and he's hitting 162. It makes absolutely no sense. Wilson Contreras gets nooched. A lot of noochings at catcher. Here's one that's on our hold for gold radar big time. Omar Narvaez is having a very strong offensive season with the Brewers. He's got a great shot to go gold this summer. Yan Gomes. I don't know about Yan Gomes going gold. I would say no. I'm actually surprised. He must be playing really well of late because his full season numbers are pretty bad. Kelly loses 1, man. He's been bad since coming back. It's almost as if maybe he should have healed before coming back. McCann gets nooched. He's starting to turn it around. I don't know about gold. We're a long way out from that if it's going to come. Max Stassi is somebody I do love. And if he can just stay healthy, that's the biggest part, though. And he has not been able to at all. So that is a big if. But if you want to get it on the ground floor of somebody, Max Stassi could go gold this summer. He's got the talent. It's all about staying healthy, which has been troubling him throughout his entire career. Sean Murphy gets nooched. Yermin gets nooched. Sanchez gets +1. What a bronze. What a bronze to pick in VR. Estudillo goes +1. Higashioka -1. Murphy Nooch. I don't know what Henry's barking at. Nobody's here, so he's just going to bark. Alfaro and Severino nooched. Trevino +1. Maldonado and Caratini down. Eric Haas gets a fat upgrade. Gets a massive boost, as he deserves, of course. Goes from 59 to 70. Could keep going up, too. My guy is not slowing down. I thought for sure he would, but he's like, no, I'm a god now all of a sudden. I wish Topps now would make a card for him because, you know, a lot of times we say, well, why didn't SDS do a Topps now for this guy? And it's like, well, if Topps doesn't make one, they can't just materialize one. That's not how it works. So we looked through the archive. They didn't have a single Eric Haas one. I thought with some of the interesting stuff that he's done, I think he has two homer games. You know, he's like a 26 or 28-year-old out of nowhere. I don't know. I just thought he's kind of that Patrick Wisdom of catching that would maybe get some love and get a Topps Now card, but he doesn't have one yet. Kurt Suzuki gets blasted. Yikes. And then William Contreras. Oh, the brothers got updates on the same week. Isn't that cute? Well, he got nooched. Baby bro got +3. He's been hitting pretty well for a rookie. 796 OPS as a rook behind the dish. That's really nice. Moving over to first base, Freef God gets a little hit. He loses his 90. I mean, he's hitting terribly with his batting average right now. Still has a good OPS because he gets on base and has power. So overall, the Braves aren't like, oh my God, this guy stinks. It is pretty rough with the average, though. Olsen goes up 2 more. He's just having a hell of a season. Another one for Vlad Jr. He's an absolute god. Yuli gets there, man. That's a shock. Not a shock like that he got it right now. A shock if you had told me at the beginning of the year that Yuli Gurriel was going to go diamond. I did not see that coming. He's been a monster. Fully deserved. A little nooch for Muncy. 2 weeks after he goes diamond. Jared Walsh, very much in the destined for diamond camp. You see the most obvious way to get there would be hitting contact against lefties, but there are other avenues that could come via the power as well. So there's reason to invest here. I really like Jared Walsh. He was one of my big breakout picks coming into the year, and so far so good. Abreu loses a couple. Santana loses 1. Goldie, Rizzo, everybody down. Zimmerman gets nooched. That's tough. He's been playing remarkably well. I thought maybe he could get to at least 79 and knock on the door. This is great for BR because he's much better as a 78 than if you have to use one of your gold picks. Pujols gets +1. They gave him some love. I mean, he's out there doing a few things for the Dodgers. Brandon Belt gets nooched. So does Tellez. +3 for Pavin Smith. He's been hitting really well. I know Marcos from chat is going to be screaming about his defense, and you're not wrong. His defense should get upgraded. He is a legit defender, both in the both at first base and in the outfield. So I think that there needs to be some love for his defense. Get him into the silver realm, and then he becomes an interesting hold for gold. Mitch Moreland, Ryan Mountcastle, nothing to see here. Oh my goodness! Everyone will still draft him in BR as you should. It doesn't matter. He could go to common. I promise it doesn't even matter. Just keep drafting him. Okay. Now this is one of the ones I was talking about earlier. If you had guaranteed me one piece of news and said, okay, I'll tell you one thing. Marcus Semien gets a position change to second base. I say, okay, that's a diamond lock. I thought for sure, because he was listed as a shortstop, I thought for sure position change plus a little sprinkle of love was going to get him there. The sprinkle was too light. +7, +2. Doesn't get him there. Tough. That's tough. Buy the dip. Ozzy goes +1. He definitely has a diamond opportunity, but until he starts hitting righties, it becomes a little bit of it's different from the Winker scenario, but it's similar in that it's hard to give somebody diamond when they literally don't hit well against one side of one subset of pitchers. And for Albies, it happens to be the biggest subset, righties. So he has the 84. He's knocking on the door. You can invest in him if you believe in Albies, but he needs to fix what has been kind of a career-long issue against righties if he's going to get there. Segura gets nooched. He does get a position change and some attention across 5 categories. Altuve gets +1, but the way he's been cooking, hit another homer yesterday. he and his double play partner, who I'll get to in a moment, both have an opportunity to go diamond in the near future. I'm talking like June 25th type of deal. So you should already be invested in Altuve and Correa if you are interested. We'll talk more about Correa when we get to shortstop. Frazier goes up even more. He just keeps tearing the cover off the ball. Or maybe not tearing the cover off. That implies power. But making a lot of wonderful contact. Let's say that. Edman gets a position change and a little love. So he goes up +1. You see that base running aggressiveness goes way up. He does take a little hit against righties, but gets some love against lefties and his vision. Colton Wong +1. Witt gets nooched. It looks like they took a lot of attention for base running aggressiveness on certain guys. You see a +28 there for Witt. Oh, now all of a sudden LeMahieu could be a silver, y'all. He has had a brutal season. Just ask any Yankees fan, they think he's the worst player ever because, well, you know, Yankees fan. Fletch, don't even want to look at that. I don't know if I can show this on screen without it being against terms of service for like vile or inappropriate content. What are those numbers, dude? If all three of your slash line numbers start with a 2, yikes, dude. Brandon Lau goes down 1. He's just had a really rough season. Madrigal gets +1, but he's going to stagnate now because he got hurt. So that really sucks. Now this is one of those ones that we just can't fully understand. In that, if you had told me that he's going to get all these upgrades, I would have thought there would be more than +1. But that's the part of like, you don't know where they are, right? Like the fact that he was able to get all of this and it only moved him up 1 tells me he was like a 75.8, which rounds up to 76. But you know what I mean? Like it's a long way to his next boost. So he gets all of this and only goes up 1. He's continuing to tear the cover off the ball though. So if he has another hot 2 weeks, he could be in gold focus, but I wouldn't invest too much here for scope. His heater has been running for about a month, and that's kind of what the scopening goes for. They're usually about a month, and then he goes cold for a while, and then if you're lucky, you get a second scopening in a year. So I'd be careful here. I would not go crazy with an investment. Cesar gets nooched. He had to get a little power love. He does have 9 homers already, which is uncharacteristic of him, but so is the 220 average, and so he ends up getting nooched. Peraza and VR go up a little. Profar down 1, Hampson up 1, Lowry up 1, Alberto nooched, Locastro hit. Frankly, this is better because I never really wanted to spend the silver, foolish baseball, cover your ears. I never really wanted to spend the silver pick in BR to take him for being a pinch runner. So I actually love this because now I'll take him as a bronze bench bat. Panic nooched, Solano down, Kemp up 1, and then Ref Snyder +3. Moving over to third base, Arenado nooched, Ramirez nooched. Bregman loses his diamond, which makes sense. His power just hasn't really been there. I mean, he's having a fine season. Like, nobody's complaining about an 864 OPS. You know, it's not like he's hurting them. But has he really been diamond caliber? Not necessarily. Only +1 for KB. I am a little bit shocked by that. I'm not going to lie. I kind of thought he'd go 84 and be ready to be knocking on the door, you know? But here we are. We're a little under, and we got to kind of play the wait and see game. If you're invested, I would not jump out. I'll say that. This one was a nice one. This one was a while coming in terms of he had a flash early that made it look like he might get there, and then they stopped him just short. I think he went from like 77 to 79 or something like that. Then he hit a skid, and you see his batting average and OBP actually kind of suck. So then it was really nerve-wracking. Well, then he got hot again, and that power has just been off the charts the entire year, and he's been killing lefties, as you can see. That's where the bulk of his upgrade comes from. So he ends up getting there, and we get our Eduardo Escobar shares to cash out. Wendell gets a position change. That's it. Urshela loses gold. Longo, man, this is tough. This one stinks because this is like the Antone one because he doesn't get there and he gets hurt. I had him at a 79, with the idea that maybe they would find a way to push him since he's hurt and he has played like a gold. I will say this though, this is like the scope one. This is a pretty big upgrade to only go up 2 points. So again, he strikes me as somebody who was more of like a 75.7, which would round up to a 76, but he was so far from that first jump that, you know, even with all these upgrades here, he only gets to 78. Austin Riley goes up 1. He's been playing really well. Austin Riley could definitely go gold this summer. Moncada, I was just dead wrong on him. I actually had him going gold, and he gets fucking nooched. So back to the drawing board for me on that one. And my apologies if you have like 900 of them. I will say this: I will be buying more, and I'm staying bought in on Moncada. He's just such a dynamic talent. Once the power gets going, it's the 412 slug that's really holding him back. Once the power gets going, I think he's a shoo-in for gold. Suarez is kind of a better version of the Sano. It doesn't really matter that his ratings are going down. People are still going to draft him in BR, and you should. You should with Kyle Seager too, by the way. His cards are always slept on. He's not a meme card like Suarez and Sano and a bunch of those other guys, but Seager cards do rip. Position change and +1 for Fuentes. Gets up to, wait, what position was he listed at? First base? It's so weird how much he looks like Arenado when he took over for him, by the way. This guy needs a position change. He should be in left field. I don't know if that would necessarily move him up to silver or anything. This is such an interesting upgrade, by the way, right? How often do you see 5 double-digit moves on categories, including 3 negatives? Dang. Ty France, Maikel Franco get nooched. This one was a biggie. This was another Eric Haas type move that we knew was coming. He had to get a lot of love. Can he go silver? Sure. Is there gold future? I don't really see it. I think he's on a heater right now. He's still striking out way too much. He doesn't walk. I don't really see any changes right now with Wisdom. So I'm seeing really just a hot run of his power that we've known about clicking on all cylinders. He's been playing brilliantly. I'm not trying to take anything away from him. I love that they gave him a Topps Now diamond. But if we're looking forward and trying to prognosticate, I really see his OPS coming down to like the 800s. Taylor Ward gets 3 points. Taylor Ward's a great BR pick, by the way, because he has backup catcher ability. So if you draft like a Grandal who's super slow, put Taylor Ward on your bench. Dozier -2. Rake Lamb +4. Love to see it. Jonathan India only gets 1. This is another scope type upgrade where he gets all this love and only goes up 1. That's kind of surprising to me. I would have thought he'd gone up more. I had him going to 71, so I came up way short, and yet this is a pretty big upgrade, so I'm not really mad about it. Christian Arroyo gets +2, and Jose Rojas -1. Moving over to shortstop, Fernando Tatis, still a god. I know that contact against lefties is going to hurt, especially on Hall of Fame and Legend if you're using him, but the card is so godly that I think everyone's still going to use him. There's Correa. He does get right up on the cusp there. Very healthy upgrade to 84. If he just keeps hitting, he'll be a diamond shoe-in 2 weeks. Baez gets nooched. Until we see something with the batting average turn, there's no chance for diamond here. Bichette nooched. TA nooched. Crawford gets to gold. I love to see that, man. I've always liked Brandon Crawford. He's another guy whose card is consistently slept on. His power is usually in like the 50s and 60s, and he still crushes. Now you're going to give me 84, 78? That's game over, man. Kiner Falefa goes up 1. Iglesias nooched. Galvis +2. Scuffy's got to be loving that. Gleyber Torres gets a position change. Swanson up 1. Oof. Nick Ahmed taking a hit. Aledmus Diaz and Crawford up. Culberson, Adam. What? Okay, this is a head scratcher here. We gotta pull this up. I'm sorry, pardon me on this detour, but we gotta pull this up. When was he traded? He was traded on May 22nd, so just before the last update, which I believe was May 28th, right? Yep. So that update closed probably on the 25th is what I would operate with. So I'll take his numbers from the 26th until this past Tuesday, the 8th. Okay, not as good as I thought, but also did not think he would get a downgrade. He has hit 267, 327, 511 with 3 homers in that time. But he does have 15 strikeouts in that time, which is a pace for 203. So that's why his vision got smoked. I'll tell you what, though. Here's my bold prediction. This is a very long-term thing. Very long-term. Hold for gold. I said it. I said what I said. Hold for gold. I'm telling you. He got out of the Tropicana. He could not hit there. His home road splits with as a Ray were so unbelievably stark. He was on the Chris Rose podcast with Tyler Glasnow talking about how Tyler brought it up. He's like, dude, you couldn't see there, right? And they broke it down. He can't see the ball in there. He hit horribly at home, and he played like an all-star on the road. He had like an 860 OPS as a road player for like a large sample. That's an all-star. That's a gold player. Plus, he's a good defender. I think Willy Adames is going to get gold this summer. Now, we're talking like 3 to 4 updates, okay? It's going to be a long time. So don't be knocking on my door on June 25th saying you said he was going to get an 8-point upgrade, because no, the fuck I didn't, okay? But if you like ground floor long-term stuff, Willy Adames is one of my super long-term picks. Jazz is another one, by the way. He's got the skills to pay the bills. Nico goes down 1, and Adrianza goes down 2. Moving out to left field, Soto starting to turn it up a little bit. Soto hasn't even clicked into high gear. Washington's such a bummer this year, man. They've got all that star talent. Like, they've got, a cluster of legitimate superstars, and then nothing else. Yelich gets hit hard, understandably. He's just been struggling so much. JD gets nooched, and listen, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that he can't go diamond this year, but I am going to tell you that I will not be investing in it at all. I'm done with the no defense, all hitting DH types like Martinez, Cruz, and those guys. I'm just not. I know Fran Mill's hurt, so he doesn't really count, but trying to get him to gold, I'm done with that headache, guys. Obviously, I'm going to keep an eye on JD, and if I think he can get to diamond, I will tell you guys in a prediction, but I'm not going to be invested. I'm not wasting my time anymore. Winker goes up 1. Oh, I thought he was going to get diamond. That's what Twitter told me. It's almost as if he has no defense and can't hit against half of pitch. Well, not half of pitchers. It's not an even split, but you know what I mean. He can't hit against one side. Rosarena gets nooched with a position change, offsetting his downgrade. Tyler O'Neill gets gold. That was a lock. We're very happy about that one. He's killing it. Brantley and Alvarez lose 1. I'm not crying. Shut up. You're crying, okay? Shut up. Okay, I'm not even crying at all. I swear. No, this one fucking stings, man. This one even more than the Semien. If you had told me that Mark Canha was going to get the position change, I would have bought 100 more. Because I thought it was a lock. He was a center fielder. And he moved center field restrictions, like they're high. You have to have a lot to kind of hit level changes. And his defense sucks. So I understood why he was a silver as a center fielder. What I didn't understand was why he was a center fielder. He doesn't play center field anymore. He's playing a little bit with Laureano out, but he's their left fielder. So we looked at it in the front page, and the position change alone, without touching anything else, gave him 7 points. Now, I didn't think that it would be the same 7 points in DD, but I thought for sure it would at least be the 4. Like, I thought it would guarantee the gold, but I also thought he might get a little love on his power numbers, and that didn't really happen. He got +1 against righties. This one stings. By the fuck out of the dip, though. Canha will get gold this year. Tommy Pham nooched. Benintendi up. Benintendi is putting himself in the hold for gold conversation, y'all. When I update the hold for gold sheet next week, Benintendi will obviously be on it because he's a silver now, and I think he's going to be a 7 or higher. I left Benintendi for dead. I'm not a huge fan of his game. He has turned it around. He looks very good. Big lefty homer off Luzardo last night. You see the 7 homers and 7 steals. That's made him a nice fantasy asset. I missed the boat there. He's just been a guy I never really bought in on when he was with Boston. He was just so kind of like plain Jane type of guy that I just wasn't there. He goes to KC. I'm like, I don't really see much. He's been great. So I got him wrong. But now I'm going to get in, as he has an opportunity to push those next 4 points. Meadows, I thought Meadows could possibly be a duelist, meaning he could go from bronze to gold. And he got a position change too, from right to left, which is an easier position. And yet he still only got 2 points, despite getting an upgrade. So I oversold that one for sure. And I'm just kind of surprised that this is all he's at. But that's the way the numbers break out. If he continues to hit like this, though, he'll be a gold in short order. So I think you should still be on the hold for gold train with Austin Meadows. Swipe right on Chad Pinder because he's a god. He's not hitting very well, but he's still a god. Don't get it twisted. Fuck this guy. Andrew McCutcheon -2. Jay Up +1. Dom Smith -2. Grossman nooched. And Chaz McCormick +3. Out to center field, Acuna gets nooched. Only going to make the card better, though. Yeah, the vision's down, but unless you use the outer PCI, who cares? Starling Marte is putting himself in contention to go diamond again. If there's any dip, buy. Just buy. He's been awesome. Same here with Cattell. These two are both huge diamond candidates. I'm in. Verdugo's a diamond candidate too. Now, this is a healthy update with 6 categories being moved, but he got hit really hard against lefties. And so that's something to look for. Can he get a good 2-3 week run against lefties to push for that diamond? I do think he is a strong diamond candidate, though. This was my big Adolis prediction of the week, and I'm saying that because 2 weeks ago, Adolis Garcia went from 74 to 80 in a big upset because of how well he'd been hitting. I thought Mullins could be the next one to do that. He did get a very healthy 4-point boost. I'm not really upset by this. I just thought maybe it would merit more. Instead, this is what we get, and now we set up hold for gold in the future. Naquin goes up. Naquin has to be at least on the gold radar. I'm not really investing in him, but I'm keeping an eye on him. If he starts hitting for average a little bit more, he'll get there. Brian Reynolds is very much a hold for gold because not only is he hitting for the contact that he hit for back in 19 and he lost last year, but he's added some pop. Look at that 5'10 slug is really standing out nicely. Brian Reynolds makes for a really nice hold for gold. Margot +1, not really on my gold radar right now. Kalu, devastating injury. I'm just sad about that. Daza +2 to silver. We love that. B. Phillips gets +1. Friend of the channel. Great guy. Fraley up 3 looking nice. Duggar up 3 looking pretty nice as well. Beham +1 did hit the IL, unfortunately. Don't really see anything long term there. Honestly, these two could go silver though. They have enough hitting where they could definitely make a run at silver. And wrapping it up in right field, we got Castellanos getting nooched. Cruz -2. See why I won't invest in it. It's just not worth the hassle. Tucker +1. Joey Gallo nooched. The aforementioned Adolis Garcia +1. Gritchy gets gold. That one was a bit of a lock. The market was on that. I know this one hurt some folks. That Renfroe came up just short. He gets +1 to 79. Obviously very much a hold for gold. And, I mean, does it make me an asshole if I say I told you so? I had him at a 79. I had so many other ones wrong, though. Imagine me propping up one that I got right just because I got it right and then not acknowledging the 5,000 that I got wrong. Will Myers loses his gold status. He's been struggling a bit. Avi goes +1. I love Avi. He is going to be on my hold for gold radar. I think that power definitely has upside there, so I'm going to be invested in him. Part of that is just I've been liking him all year, and so I think there's an opportunity. Santander does get nooched. Keep a close eye on him, though. Same with Haniger. Our boy, Haniger, finally starting to turn it on. Had a 2-homer day yesterday that counts for the next update. So hopefully you've been buying the dips on him because he's had like 412 dips in his price because every time he falls short of gold, everyone's like, well, fuck this. But get in on Haniger. Carlson gets nooched. I'll tell you, Carlson, well, he doesn't have any stats. He quit playing baseball. He's a long-term hold for gold for me. 5 points away. It's going to take a little while, but he's a long-term. Harold Ramirez. I like Harold Ramirez. I kind of liked him in Miami. He's getting an opportunity in Cleveland. He's a save for silver. Reddick gets nooched. Had no idea he was still in the league till like a week ago. Slater and Stewart get +1s. Piscotti -1. Soler -3. Soler absolutely in that Sano category. Doesn't matter where his stats are on the card. He's an automatic pick in BR. And the two rookies in Minnesota both get some love, up to 70 for Kirilloff and 66 for Larnach, respectively. All right, so that wraps it up. All in all, still pretty good. A lot of diamonds, good handful of golds. Some of the misses there, though, are ones that I am really questioning. The Antone one for me, the Semien, the Canha. Those were the three that really stood out to me. And listen, I'm not saying that because I was invested in them or because I predicted them. Like, obviously, I predicted them because I thought they were going to go. The disconnect for me is I want to know where I missed. What did I miss that I didn't see, that I was so confident that if those two guys got the position change, they'd get there, or that Antone, just on the strength of his stats, would get there. So back to the drawing board for me on a few of those. I will learn. I will make sure that I'm better. Hopefully you made some stubs off the list that I had 103 players getting upgraded. We had an all right week overall. I mean, three of my four diamonds did hit. I had Lynn, Barnes, Gurriel, Glasnow, so that's not bad. I had Gosman going to 84, and he actually oversold that. And then as far as my golds, I had Grichuk, Escobar, O'Neill, Bassett, Ray, correct, but then nobody else, because then Iglesias wrong, Lopez, Rogers, Moncada, Antone, Mullins, and then the Canha I had at 79.5, where I said if he gets the position change, he'll get there. He did not. Same with Semyon at 84.5. So up and down, right? Some good, some bad. We regroup, we buy the dips, and we make more stubs in 2 weeks. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.